child, you think that you're never going to die.
I think there are these life lessons that you learn that are always hard because you never know what the darn question is.
So it really made me look at life differently.
Okay, I'll put it to you like this.
Even at 10 years old, 8 years old, you knew what that meant. Someone died.
That hurricane is still with me, and I think about me walking around with water.
I had my daughter at 15.
Everybody sees me so successful in life.
And then got pregnant with my son at 19.
What would make somebody the American dream, but I was not happy.
I was mad at God for a long time.
I think we've kissed a lot of toads before we found each other.
I'm anything but fearless, but I have learned to walk through that fear.
You do a lot of things that maybe you shouldn't do, but they're a lot of fun.
I consider myself really blessed and spoiled and even overprivileged. I mean,
I don't get a chance to just be me or to wow them with Carly.
I don't think it's anything special that I survived it or didn't survive it. I just did what anybody else would do given the situation, is keep going.
At 16, I remember going into a bookstore and putting a name on it. I was like, that's what I am.
I believe in mostly everything except for bad dreams.
It's time to step back and breathe and realize that I'm still alive.
Oh, you want to hear that story?
Everything I would be, everything I would become, every bit of potential I would have had, all those things got canceled out.
It really hurt inside that somebody would want to hurt my feelings and try and tear me down. And what it really did was just make me stronger.
Talk about reality TV. This is about the most closest reality I've seen.
My dad was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and he was in Okinawa and Korea, and he was did 2 tours of Vietnam. He was a recipient of the Navy Cross. It's a pretty high honor, but when you're a little kid, he was like a superhero, a real-life Captain America to me. And like on our street that we lived on, every family on that street, you know, it was a Catholic neighborhood, had like 8, 10, 12 kids, and so we were always playing football on the street. But during the Vietnam Wars, in particular, we'd be playing, and our street was a real long street that came to a dead end. There was only one way in and one way out, so every car had to pass us. And so when the car came, we had to stop the game and get out of the way, you know. But every once in a while, one of those green military cars used to turn the corner at the end of our street and head down the street. And everyone would just freeze because everyone, even at 10 years old, 8 years old, you knew what that meant. Someone died. And that car would drive slow, and they're always looking for the address of a house. And we'd wait to see whose house that car would park in front of. Then it would stop, and Jimmy or Gil or Frank or Kenny, you know, I remember these closely, they'd run home. They'd just stop what they were doing, drop the ball and run home. And then you'd hear that scream or that cry from the mom, man. It was just really, really intense, you know. And then one day we were playing ball and that car stopped in front of our house. And I mean, even now, like at my age, it's so ingrained, you know, I think about it, it kind of gets me choked up. And my brothers came out and got me, and you know, I'd go in the house, and of course, you know, my mom is just on the floor, just weeping, you know, and she was tough, you know, I'd never seen her really cry like that. And they said he had been shot several times and all this kind of thing, and they thought he was going to die. And so the church put out an announcement. They asked for volunteers for, they needed 8 families to take one of the 8 kids to watch him for a long period of time while my mom flew to Hawaii to, you know, say goodbye to my dad, basically. And so, you know, I was like 10 years old, and in this house, these people I really didn't even know. And they were nice, awesome people, took me fishing and stuff. But one night, there's a knock on the window of the room I was staying in, and my older brother Mike was a teenager. He was about 15. And he was the one my dad told before he left for Vietnam. He says, "You're the man of the house now. Your job is to take care of your little brother." You know, because I was kind of always getting lost and in trouble. And so he ran away from the house they were staying at. And he slept under the windowsill in the bushes under that window for like at least 6, 7 days. And I'd feed him food out the window. You know, just take it out of the fridge or out of the cupboard when no one was there and hand it off, you know, and until he got caught. And then they tried to ship him back, you know, to the house he was staying at. But it was pretty much by that time we started pooling our resources and decided we wanted to stay together as a family, you know. But the good news is my dad survived, man. He's a tough, tough guy, you know. He had been shot several times at shrapnel and all that, but he lived. And when they shipped him back from Vietnam, the whole family got together and the neighbors, and they went to the airport to greet him. And he gets off the plane, and he was so skinny, you know. I never seen him so thin. He was a pretty buff guy. And he was wearing his green Alpha suit, the ribbons and the medals hanging and stuff. And everyone rushed him, you know, and was quite a scene, actually. I'm sure everyone's seen those kind of scenes before, but when you're part of one, it's pretty intense, especially when you're 10 years old and that you're Captain America. And I got about 50 feet away from him, and my body just locked and stopped. I couldn't move or nothing. I'm just standing there looking up at my dad, and for a while he didn't even see me because everyone was so on him and hugging him and stuff. And then I noticed him kind of looking around. And then after everyone kind of quit hugging him, he's kind of parted, the group parted, and he looks for me, and we caught eyes, you know, and I was just trembling and bawling, man. I think I had snot bubbles and everything, you know, like when you're a kid. And it just was amazing the way he walked up to me, you know, and just picked me up and put me on his shoulders. And you know, it's just those kind of things that changed my life, man, as far as, you know, families and things like that. You know, I know from that point on, I became like a better brother, you know, better cousin, better friend. And I feel like an extension of him. And, you know, that drive to serve his country, to serve your community. I mean, it starts in the family, you know, and then kind of works its way out.